Hi everyone, good morning. Patricia Chiwandano here with Research Method. Today I'm going to talk about data collection. We are going to talk about how to gather your data or how to collect your data using various instruments. Okay, let's go to my PowerPoint slides. Yeah, so this is the topic for today, data collection. And this material or this topic refers to my book published in 2015. That's the title you can see. And chapter 3, pages 90 up to 93 and 100 up to 102. So please read those pages in order to get a better understanding of whatever I'm going to discuss today. Okay, let me enlarge this. So again, to remind you, your thesis chapters will look like this. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature, Theories and Previous Studies. And Chapter 3 is Method, which we are going to talk about today. More specifically, we are going to focus on data collection. And then you have Chapter 4, Findings. Chapter 5, Conclusion and Suggestions. So data collection can use various instruments. First is questionnaires. Yeah, questionnaires. I think you are familiar with questionnaires. The questionnaires, which can be closed-ended, respondents have to choose one answer. So, for example, you have a question like, what are your interests? And then A, swimming. B, dancing. C, listening to music. D, writing. Yeah, we have multiple choice, and your respondents have to choose only one of them. That is called closed-ended. Yeah. Or it can be open-ended. In open-ended, your respondents have the chance to write down a longer answer. You provide a space for them to write, and then they can write down whatever they feel, whatever they think about the question. Okay, and then you have what we call Likert scale, Likert or Likert, yeah, whatever it is. This is actually or usually used to measure attitude or opinion about something. This usually comes in the form of a statement. For example, the school is good. And then you have several options from very disagree, yeah, or disagree completely. And then you have neutral or I don't know. And then you have agree. And then you have agree extremely or very much agree. So you have a range of opinion on a certain statement that you have provided. You have also interviews, document study, observation, and you have text. So these are means by which you can collect, you can gather the data from your subjects or from your field of research. Let's talk about questionnaires. Questionnaires, when you build a questionnaire, make sure that every item is directed immediately to the information that you want to obtain. Yeah, so make sure that every item directly goes to the essential point that you are going to find out about. Yeah. Do not beat around the bush. Do not pose irrelevant questions, but get straight to the point. Yeah. So, for example, if you want to know the opinion about the English language, you have to ask directly. Your opinion about English is A, I don't care, B, positive, C, negative, etc. So this is a direct question right to the issue. Yeah. Questions which might not be efficient are things like when you ask about what are your interests, what are your hobbies. Yeah. Things like that, of course, you can ask that kind of question in a questionnaire, but it's not effective, it's not efficient either. Yeah, in a questionnaire, you want to go straight to the point so that your respondents don't have to spend a lot of time answering your questionnaires. Remember that when you ask people to fill out your questionnaires, you are asking their time, and sometimes many of them are not happy to spend just a few minutes to fill out your questionnaires. And therefore, you have to be careful. Make your items straightforward. Go straight to the items, or go straight to the issues that you want to find out about, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, in a closed-ended item, you have to avoid what we call double-barreled question. Double-barrel it means an item which asks two questions at the same time, and it's not effective. It is confusing to your respondents. So, for example, your question goes like this: what do you think about the food and the music at our event? This is a double-barrel question because you ask two questions. One is, what do you think about the food? And what do you think about the music? Yeah. Some respondents might feel that the food is good, but the music is lousy, or the food is not delicious, but the music is good. Yeah. But on your options, you do not accommodate this kind of thoughts. You do not accommodate this kind of possibilities. And therefore, your respondents are left confused. There is no option that suits them, that suits their opinion, because your question is double-barreled. Yeah. So in constructing a questionnaire, make sure that an item asks only one thing. Do not ask more than one thing in one item. Yeah. Okay. So avoid double-barreling questions. The second step to make a questionnaire is don't make too many questions. Otherwise, you will make the respondents bored. And when they are bored, they will answer your questions just for the sake of answering. They do not care anymore whether the answers are true or not. They do not put a lot of thought in answering the questions, and as a result, your questionnaires or your data will have low validity. If possible, try out your questionnaires to a few people. So before launching it or using it to your real respondents, you have to try it out to a few people that you are close with, maybe your friends, your classmates, some of your teachers, yeah, in order to find out whether the questions have been clear, whether the questions are not too many, and whether the questions are effective enough to get whatever data you want. Okay. Now interviews is divided into two. Structured interview is when you ask questions based on a predetermined list of questions. So before you go to the interview, before you go out to meet people and interview them, you prepare a list of questions. And when you meet your respondents, you are going to ask them the questions one by one from your list. And that is, we call that structured interview. In unstructured or informal interview, you chat with the respondents informally, usually, about anything around the topic, but your chat is not guided by a predetermined list of questions. It's just to find out how they feel in general about the issue. That can be done through an unstructured or informal interview. After informal interview, you can go back to your desk behind your laptop, and then you can begin constructing structured interview. And that's how you do that with interview. Yeah. Interview is usually recorded, yeah, and then written into transcript. You have to write out whatever your respondents say onto a written form. That's transcript. And then you code the transcript. You label the transcript using highlighter or underlining in order to analyze it and to find patterns of answers. And that's how you find the solutions or find the answers to your research problems. Okay, that's interview. Observation is when you watch people doing things, doing their daily activities, doing their tasks. Yeah. In observation, you have to use an observation guideline. This is a written form, yeah, which will guide you to determine what actions are to be recorded, what actions are to be noticed, what actions are to be marked, what actions are to be noted down on your paper or on your recording device. Yeah. So the observation guideline is to help you capture the behavior or the activity that you want to obtain. So for example, you are observing the activities of students in a classroom. You want to know how many times they ask, how many times they answer, how many times they just look down at on their notebooks, yeah, and keeping silent. So for example, you have here student one. You have as the moment that student raises his or her hand, you put a tally on your paper. That means that that particular student demonstrates asking one time, and then when the next time he or she raises his or her hand to ask questions, then you put a tally again. That's the second time. Also with student two, probably the student two does not ask anything but keep answering questions from the teachers. Then you just tally the frequencies, and that's how you use your observation guideline to help make your observation directed. If it is directed, then it is focused. If it is focused, then it tends to be reliable. Okay, yeah, that's observation. Likert scale is, for example, you have a statement like this: English is important for children, and then you have a range of options ranging from absolutely disagree, and then disagree, don't know, agree, and absolutely agree. And your respondents have to choose one of them. If they think that they agree with that issue, then they have to select the agree answer here, agree. Otherwise, they will have to select disagree. If they don't know about that issue, maybe they don't care, they select this one. That's Likert scale. Yeah. So you have these kinds of items up to 10 or maybe 20 items, yeah, or whatever number that you need for your purpose. And then when analyzing Likert scale responses, focus on the mode. The mode here is the option that is chosen by most respondents. Yeah, by focusing on the mode, you will be able to capture the tendency of the attitude toward a certain issue that you ask. So focus on the mode, not on the average, and not on the median, but on the mode. Yeah, if you want to know more about this, you can read more about the descriptive statistics, and then you will find there explanation about average, about mean, mode, and median. Now on Likert scale, you focus on the mode. Okay, yes. Now test is another instrument for gathering data. Your test can be ready-made tests like TOEFL, TOEIC, or any other formal test. Yeah. You may adopt them from the internet or from any other source, yeah, but you have to know that um, it is actually not designed specifically for your subjects. So you have to acknowledge this later in your report. You just adopt them without making sure about the validity or reliability, you just adopt them. Yeah. Of course, you can do this, but you have to report it fully that you adopt ready-made tests like them. Alternatively, you can also make your own tests. And ideally, your test should undergo a tryout to make sure that it is valid and reliable. So before using the test for your real subjects, you have to try it out to some other subjects, to some other people, in order to make sure that the test is reliable and valid. And there are means of determining the reliability and validity. But if you cannot do this, that's okay. Yeah, you just make your tests, write down the items, create your own tests, and give it to your respondents to do them in a few minutes or in a few hours. Yeah, and that's it. But it means that you do not try it out, and it's a weakness. It's a weakness actually. So what then? Then you have to acknowledge this weakness in the limitation of the study that is usually written in chapter 1 of your thesis. You have to acknowledge that your test is made by you. You made your own tests, and it is done, it is administered without attempt to validate it or attempt to ensure the reliability is good. Okay. So that's it, students. Means of data collection. I hope you can understand all of the points that I have explained. So that's all. Good luck for your study. Keep studying and keep reading. Goodbye for now. See you in the next episode.